Dating radar. How to spot the next Tinder swindler. Why we are often attracted to people who will hurt us. Now, the women interviewed on the Tinder Swindler seem perfectly normal. They're attractive, intelligent, capable young women. Now, how did they become embroiled in such an unfortunate sequence of events? Where was their dating radar? Now, two Americans, Bill Eddy, a family therapist, and Megan Hunter, a family law specialist, have written a book called Dating Radar: Why Your Brain Says Yes to the One Who Will Make Your Life Hell. It's too late for the Tinder Swindler's victims, but it might just prevent the next dating disaster. I'm not going to review the entire book, but there are some key concepts presented that are worth sharing. As a family lawyer, I see the grief and pain caused by high conflict divorces. Anything I can do to prevent them is worthwhile. Now, high conflict personalities. I've written a lot about narcissism and navigating or escaping a relationship with a narcissist. The narcissist is one type of high conflict person, but there are actually three others. The authors don't apply the term narcissist to all high conflict types, but in our experience there are different types of narcissists, and we believe that all four types of high conflict individuals contain shades of narcissism. You can read more about covert narcissists in the link below. However, the terminology is irrelevant. What is important is the behavior exhibited, what it signifies, and what you can do when you encounter it. If you can learn to recognize the red flags to reveal high conflict tendencies, you can make healthy life choices before the ability to choose is taken from you. Now, high conflict behavioral patterns. Regardless of which type of high conflict personality the person may display, Eddy and Hunter say there are four primary characteristics: all or nothing thinking, unmanaged emotions, extreme behavior or threats, and preoccupation with blaming others. These traits manifest through some or all of the following behaviors: blame, manipulation, lying and deceitfulness, cognitive distortions, controlling, dominating, hitting, biting, scratching or throwing things, jumping to conclusions, jealousy, defensiveness, depression, inability to handle criticism, domestic violence, child abuse, false allegations of domestic violence or child abuse against a partner. These behaviors are almost never apparent at the beginning of a relationship with a high conflict partner. Friends and romantic partners generally express surprise or even shock when these negative qualities start to emerge. The person was so nice to begin with. Sometimes high conflict behavior manifests itself suddenly overnight, according to Eddy and Hunter, but in a far greater number of cases it reveals itself over time or later in the relationship, according to a survey conducted by the authors. By then, the relationship is often cemented, often via marriage or children, making it much harder to walk away from a high conflict partner. Now, the four types of high conflict partners. At the heart of Eddy and Hunter's analysis lie four basic types of high conflict partners. Each type exhibits certain predictable behavior traits and is driven by a core underlying fear resulting in corresponding need. There are also reasons why we might be drawn to these individuals, but we'll first look at each type of HCP in turn. Now, the narcissistic HCP. This one needs to feel superior to others, and this is especially true of romantic or life partners. They achieve this by putting others down, making the other out to be unintelligent or overly emotional. Their basic fear is being seen as inferior, so to counter that, they put others down, positioning themselves as superior. They can be, according to Eddy and Hunter, demanding, demeaning, self-absorbed, and insulting. Spend time around a narcissist, and it won't be long before you start to believe you truly are inferior. Now, borderline HCPs. It's easy to see why the borderline HCP is attractive at first. They seem attentive, devoted even. Anyone who has waited nervously for a phone call or message from a new partner will find the regular contact reassuring, even flattering, until it becomes stifling. Borderline HCPs fear abandonment, so they compensate with over-attachment. They call or message all the time and cling to a partner. Because they fear being abandoned, they can get irrationally angry when the partner is held up in traffic or out with friends. They often suffer sudden mood swings and can't handle things that are unexpected. Antisocial HCPs, these ones care only about themselves. They come across as charming, but it's means to an end. People are only valuable as tools to help the antisocial HCP get what they want in life. The behavior stems from the fear of being dominated, and they mitigate that fear by dominating others, especially partners. Histrionic HCPs, this one is the drama queen or king. They're prickly and react emotionally to the most minor of triggers. They often blame their partner for their pain. Ultimately, the histrionic HCP fears being ignored and constantly needs to be the center of attention. Their behavior can come across as helpless and attention-seeking, and they have a tendency to exaggerate. Now, the law of attraction. Why would anyone want to be with any of these four personality types? Well, It's not as if they walk around with signs on their back while the rest of us are all completely well adjusted. Human beings are complex and we are all dealing with issues. We may not recognize a particular red flag in a potential partner because we are looking for something else based on the previous relationship that went sour. Behaviors described above may not be obvious until much later in the relationship. In the dating stage, the HCP can be totally charming and attractive. They often love bomb or display intense emotion and make grand romantic gestures that make a new partner feel so very special. People have come out of relationships with HCPs say that there was a strong spark at the beginning, more so in relationships that develop more slowly. Now, our own fears and needs. We may also respond to HCPs because we have fears of our own. They may not be as extreme as the deeply embedded as the fears of the HCP, but if we have been abandoned in the past, dumped in a relationship we thought was going well, for example, or if your parents divorced when we were young, we may be attracted to someone who clings to us. We share a fear of abandonment and reassure each other. Some people have been traumatized in childhood and suffer from low self-esteem. In their eyes, they are inferior and gravitate towards narcissistic HCP. Someone who winds up in a high conflict relationship does not deserve to be judged or criticized. They may be dealing with other demons. They need love and support to address their own issues and to move on from the relationship. Now, getting out, leaving an HCP is not easy. Even when life has become unbearable, love may still be present against all odds, making a partner determined to persevere. A partner may believe the other can change despite evidence to the contrary, or may have an innate need to be the rescuer in a codependent type of relationship. The HCP may make it very difficult for the other to leave, behaving in a manipulative and even threatening manner. Often, something extreme happens to trigger a life change, but such an outburst of violence or discovery of an affair, those are examples. If you're falling in love with someone through this nightmare, you may need to be patient. They may resist or reject your attempts to help. Don't walk away, be there for them. When they are ready, they will be glad you are there. If this is you, we encourage you to confide in a trusted friend or seek help from a professional counselor. Now, my firm, ST Law, can help. ST Law are experts in divorce and family law and have dealt with many cases of narcissistic control and other types of high conflict personalities in intimate relationships. If you're in a high conflict relationship and considering divorce, or you just want to discuss your options, we can guide you through the process with compassion and dignity. Contact me on 086 099 5146 or by email simon@stlaw.co.za.